horror story, The Haunting of Eliza. Eliza was 19 when she moved into the old boarding house on Hollow Street. She was a quiet girl, studying literature at the university nearby. The house itself was ancient, its wooden beams creaking with every step, the wallpaper peeling as if the walls had grown tired of holding their secrets. The other tenants were older students, but Eliza had her own small attic room at the very top, isolated from everyone else. On her first night, as she unpacked her books and placed them neatly on her desk, she noticed something strange. Scratched into the wood of her desk were faint words. "Don't look in the mirror after midnight." She laughed nervously, thinking it was some student prank. The room had an old, cracked mirror nailed to the wall, its silver backing warped, making her reflection seem stretched and hollow-eyed. She draped a cloth over it and went to bed, determined not to be spooked. But that night, at exactly 12:07 a.m., she woke to the sound of someone whispering her name. Eliza. She sat up, her heart hammering. The whispers seemed to come from behind the cloth-covered mirror. Slowly, trembling, she pulled the blanket tighter around herself and whispered back, "Who's there?" The whispers stopped, but the cloth over the mirror began to ripple, as if a cold breath of air was trapped beneath it. She forced herself not to look. Somehow, she managed to sleep. Over the following week, the strange events worsened. At night, she heard footsteps pacing in her tiny attic room, though when she lit her lamp, no one was there. Her textbooks were rearranged every morning, and worse, she began catching glimpses of herself in the mirror, even though it was covered, her reflection smiling when she wasn't, her reflection blinking when her eyes were open. One night, after too many sleepless hours, she ripped the cloth off the mirror and stared. Her reflection stood there, but it wasn't quite her. Its eyes were darker, too wide, too hungry. Its lips curled into a grin. And then, without Eliza moving, the reflection raised its hand and pressed it against the glass. Eliza froze. The surface of the mirror rippled like water. A pale hand began to push through. She screamed, stumbling backward, but the door wouldn't open. The reflection, the other Eliza, was climbing out of the mirror, its head tilted, its smile grotesque. Its voice was like shards of glass grinding together. "You've looked for me, now I'll take your place." The next morning, the landlady knocked on the attic door to check on the quiet girl. Eliza opened it with a warm, polite smile. She looked the same as always, except her eyes were wrong. They were too dark, too empty. The real Eliza was never seen again. But sometimes, late at night, tenants would hear faint scratching sounds from inside the attic walls. If they pressed their ears close enough, they swore they could hear a muffled scream, pleading, crying, and a girl's voice whispering desperately, "Don't look in the mirror after midnight."